My name is Jason Rodriguez and welcome to Investor Secrets Unlocked, where we help real estate investors get visible and get paid through real estate investing. So make sure that you subscribe. If this is your first time, make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell, bing, 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 so that we can keep you posted. We post videos every Tuesday on real estate investing. And we also want to know what you want to learn, so check it out. Our video today is about the real estate crash of 2021. Where is it? Is it coming? Is it here? Is it not? I'm not going to come and tell you. The real estate crash of 2021. Is it happening? Do people just want to hear about something that may or may not happen? There's a lot of buzz whether the real estate is going to crash in 2021. But I'm not going to hit you with a lot of the facts that are out there. I'm going to give you enough facts. But this video is mostly intended for someone that is either buying their first house or they already bought the house and they're going to move into another house, trying to think, should I buy and make that move in 2021? And for all the real estate investors that are out there saying, is this a good time to invest? Should I jump into the market? So this is what that's who this video is created for. I'm a real estate investor. I've been investing in real estate for over 25 years, and I'm here to come and help you make better decisions with your real estate investing. So we're going to talk about the top five factors that we over here figure out whether we should buy or not, and is the market going to crash in 2021? So one of the first things we want to come and talk about is inventory. So right now in 2021, there is a supply and demand thing going on. There's not enough housing. That means the supply is low and the demand is high. And a lot of times people ask me, hey Jason, how's the whole market doing? The first thing I say is I don't buy the whole market. And that's something for you to think about. You're not going to buy, you're not buying the whole United States of America. You're probably buying in whatever town that's important to you. So if you look at the whole market, you gotta know that there may be some signals that are not giving you the right info. If you start looking from right now and going back a few years and look at the supply and demand issue, according to Fed data, in December 2019, there were 1.39 million houses available on the market. That's the whole market. And then a year later, it's tracked from December 2020, there was 1,070,000 houses. That is a 30% decrease, 30%. And with that time, one of the things to find out what's important is how much inventory is good, how much is not. For us investors, I'm looking from the investment standpoint. Typically, we want to have about 3 months of inventory that's good. If you go according to MLS, the multiple listing service, the national multiple listing service, and the board of realtors, they like to see 6 months. They say that's where the prices are not gonna spike. It's just gonna kind of be a nice control. They like 6 months. I like between 3 and 4 months. That's plenty of inventory. Everything is nice and good. Well, right now we are at because of the supply and demand, we are probably only at about 2 months of inventory. That's why prices are through the roof right now. And why is that? Well, there's been a lot, in a lot of the big cities. People are leaving the big cities. They're going out to the more rural countries, maybe not rural country, maybe suburbs, and just out of the cities. And what's happening is they sold their properties from the big cities, or they had big money over there, and now they have a lot of cash that they're buying in these other places. And they're all fighting, which is, what's that doing? That's just increasing the price and the price and the price, right? To an absorbent amount in some areas. Remember, when you look at and you start asking questions about what's going on in the whole country, you got to skew those numbers back down to you, because if you're looking in what's happening in California, it may not be and have nothing to do with what's going on with you. So, but there are sometimes some correlations. So just my record behind this, if you're looking at this to make a buying decision, cool, look global, but then narrow down and look exactly where you are, your town, your city, your county, and you'll start seeing some of the numbers to make a better decision. All right, so let's talk about inventory and some of the stats that are out there. And just so you know, I got my data from Fed data, and you can come take a look at it yourself. So in December 2019, there were 1.39 million houses throughout the whole country. 1 year later, during the pandemic, in December 2020, it dropped down to 1,070,000 houses. That's a 30% decrease in 1 year of inventory. During that same exact time, people in the big cities were migrating out. And so they were going out to the suburbs. So they sold their properties that they had, their condos, the houses, all that expensive stuff. They migrated out. Plus, other people, remember, they're working remotely, and they realize, hey, I don't have to stay where I'm living at right now. I could actually go to where I really wanted to go. So there's this big migration of going on, and people were starting to sell, and they had a lot of cash. They have a lot of cash on hand, moving that. So the inventory, now you had a lot of demand with very little supply. We dropped by 30%, and it just kept on ticking. The other fact is that the average months of inventory available, on average, in 2019, we were probably at about 4 to 5 months of inventory. Due to the demand issue, the average months now have dropped to about 2 months of inventory. That's very, very low. Me personally, as an investor, I like to see between 4 and 5 months of inventory. That means that it's pretty plentiful. We can still go in. The homeowners can still buy. Investors can still buy. The waters are not choppy. They're not bloody. And then everyone's not doing what they're actually doing right now, which is fighting for deals, increasing the price. Based on what we see from here, it doesn't look like the market is going to crash. Why? Because in 2008, what happened? It was the opposite of this. Right now, we have so many people that want houses and very little inventory. No one's just going to go to the sideline, and if they did, it's fine because there's so much demand, it's so high. In 2008, it was the opposite. The price, that there was more houses than there were people to buy. So for that reason, I don't see a crash happening in the next 3 months, 6 months, not even a year. But let's check the next fact. So number 2, what's going on with all the foreclosures, the forbearances that are due now? According to blacknight.com, there are over, there's 3.5 million loans that are more than 30 days late. 3.5, that's a lot. And there's over 1 million forbearances that are due to expire in 2021. So you say, well, 3.5 are having a challenge paying, and then another 1 million. So that's 4.5 million properties that have some kind of financial stress behind it, whether it be a foreclosure or forbearance. But what did government do? Government put in the moratorium that was, for the most part, was until August. And then they let the moratorium open up the gates, and then about a week or two later, the president came in and extended that moratorium. So that 4.5 million properties that people were thinking that could be a problem was all handled. Biden gave us extra time, gave the people extra time, and so now those properties are not in jeopardy of being back into foreclosure and being able to flood the real estate market. So that's not going to happen. Doesn't look like that's going to help, or that doesn't look like the market is going to crash because of all those, foreclosures and forbearances. Not happening. Not in 2021. In fact, if you say it slowly and we look at the process of how a foreclosure does go, it's probably going to take months. The courts are probably they are back. They haven't done any foreclosure for months. So it doesn't look like anything's going to happen. Even if it took time, once it does get started, it's probably 6 months, maybe a year. So we're not going to see a lot of that inventory to even hit the streets. And by the time it does, it probably will come out in little trickles. And who knows what they're going to do, whether the government is going to come in and lean heavily on those banks to say, hey, make deals with people. Keep the homeowners in the house. Things happen. They didn't have a job. They lost their job, but they're getting back on their feet. So I think there's going to be a lot more of the forbearances that are going to come in and kind of save the day. So again, I don't see a crash in 2021. Not on the foreclosure market or the forbearance. Let's see the next one. All right, number 3. Here's another reason. Is the market going to crash in 2021? I don't know. Right now, interest rates are at its all-time lowest. The Feds said that they were going to increase the interest rates in 2024. And they did that. They kept the interest rates low so they can stimulate the real estate market. Why did they want to stimulate the real estate market? They wanted to stimulate the real estate market because there's a lot of other markets that bleed from the real estate market. They live from the real estate market. You have the construction market. You got, mortgages. You have banks. You have a lot of different industries that live from that. So to keep it stimulated, they dropped the interest rate, which is pretty cool for some things. But just recently, the Fed said that they're probably going to increase the interest rates in 2 years earlier than they had thought, which is they're saying possibly 2022. The interest rates is probably going to go up. They threatened. We don't know until that actually happens, but they've been a lot of talk about it. So what does that mean to us? So what does the interest rate mean to the consumer? And what's the effect, whether the market is going to crash or not? Well, the interest rate right now is so low. Think about this. When the interest rate was a little higher, you could buy a $300,000 house. Let's just give an example. You buy a $300,000 house. And this is just a hypothetical. I'm making it up right here on the spot. $300,000 house. And think of this. People, when they buy houses based on how much they could afford down payment and how much they could afford monthly. They look at the price, but the price is not indicative of everything. Why? Because most people are going to get financing. Only about 30% of real estate is paid all cash. The rest, the other 70% are going to either go get some kind of financing. And when they're looking at that, at the end of the day, they're saying, how much down payment can I afford and how much monthly payment? And then that reverses out to what that sticker price is. The same exact way we all buy cars when we finance them, right? So what happens when the interest rate dropped, that meant that they could afford more house. So I'll say it again. When the interest rate dropped, they could afford more house. So if today they could afford $300,000 house, interest rate drop, they might be able to afford a $370,000 house for the same exact down payment and monthly payment. Which, when the consumer realizes that stimulates them to say, hey, today might be a day for me to buy, which brings the stimulation, they get stimulated, and that is now putting a lien on the supply and demand. Because people are saying, I want to take advantage of this low discounted price today. So that's another reason on why I don't see that the market is going to crash, because the interest rates are still low. Now, people, they're going to go up, and I know I'm going to have some comments inside there that interest rates are going to go up, they're going up a little bit. Yeah, but when I first got started in investing in real estate about 25 years ago, we were at like 16% interest rate. Right now, we're at like still just threes, maybe a little bit more depending on your credit where you're at. So, and if it goes up 0.25%, it's not going to be some major thing. So people are trying to take advantage of the situation, the lowest that they can do right now. So that's, again, increasing demand. Comment below. Tell me what you think about this low interest rate. I know this. Here's something that's funny I think about when we think the market is going to crash. Think about 5 years ago, right? 5 years ago. Well, houses, for the average, for the most part, were they lower or more expensive? They were probably lower. Today, they're more expensive. Think about 10 years ago. Were they cheaper? Yes. That means the property values keep on going up and up and up. So with that, I keep on thinking, today, I don't know. You tell me. It might be a good time to buy. Do we think that the price is going to be cheaper in 5 years, in a year from now, 2 years, 5 years from now? I don't know. Look at history. Has it said that the prices are going to drop? I don't think so. I think for the most part, we could probably, for the most part, agree that the prices are still going to go up in total. Tell me your thoughts. Put it in the comments. All right. So number 4. Is the housing market going to crash in 2021? I'm going to say one of the factors that we considered was, and looking around, was the construction price. Like what's going on with building and prices of building and the materials. Things are crazy, 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 crazy with the prices. Why? What happened? So the cost of materials gone up 100%, 200%, 300%, 400 or more. Think of just lumber, concrete, insulation, and other kinds of materials that are out there that just went through the roof. For what? What happened? So let's take a look back at what happened about a year ago. We got, most of the country got locked, well, the whole country got locked down. We're all confined home. We're looking around our houses. We're saying, what kind of projects could we do? All that extra time that we didn't have before, that created an army of DIY army. And they went out there, they're bored home, just kind of like I was. And I'm like, all right, what could I do? I got all this time. I'm home, I'm working remotely, I'm working, whatever hours I work, and now I got all this extra time. I really can't go to the store, I can't go anyplace, so I got to come and do something. So we looked around, and we said, let's work on our house. And that army went out and started buying by the boatload, buying wood, buying cement, just doing all the things around the house. And at the same time, what else was happening? What else was happening is that the supply chain, factories and supply chain were very slow. Why? Because those people were home too. They weren't doing the lumber, they weren't in the cement factory, they weren't doing, you know, where they normally would go, and that created a disruption in the supply and the supply chain. Even the truckers, think of distribution. What was going on with distribution at that time? For the most part, most of the efforts of distribution were going to the essentials, to the essential things like, you know, hospitals, all the most important stuff, food, that. It wasn't going to like, hey, let's get lumber or let's get bricks or let's get cement. Those weren't primaries. They were still moving, but probably not at the level and the magnitude now this DIY army is wanting to consume this stuff. Which, at the end of the day, how did that have a trickle of effect to the average, to the real estate investing or real estate market for the most part? Sorry, I say investing. My brain thinks invest, invest, invest. All right, so we would think that this army, it, you know, went in an influx, increased the price, and we would have thought that the demand for, you know, think about it, materials go up 400%, 300, 400%, that there would be lesser demand. But it didn't. It just made things more expensive. The demand for housing still is high, even right now as we create this video. So, doesn't look like that housing army is going to come and crash the market. Made things a little bit more expensive. And yes, at the top, are people starting to say, hey, it's at a place where maybe I shouldn't buy, maybe I should wait? Yes, there are a lot of people that are saying, you know what, maybe I'm not going to buy in 2021 because I think the price is too high. That is 100% happening. But it's still not enough to make a dent based on the data we're seeing to say that there's going to be more houses than people to buy. We are still on the opposite. There are so many people that are trying to buy right now, especially August and September. Kids are going, you know, they're still out of school. They're wrapping things up. They're buying houses. People want to buy houses so the kids could get back into school for early in the year. Housing is still moving, still booming. All right. So now number 5. This number 5 is definitely something unique, and we don't know what's going to happen here. So number 5 is, what will government do? What is Joe Biden going to do? We don't know what Joe Biden's going to come and do. Like, look, he can make some kind of changes in the market to stimulate the market where there's still going to be the supply and demand issue in 2022. He may, you know, he could do all kinds of things. One of the things he just did, he extended the moratorium so that 4.5 million houses that were having some financial challenges, they're good for 2021. That's going to bleed out for at least another year. One of the things that we paid attention to is that he created one of the things that is available to Biden right now is he could start and implement and release funding for this for the ARP, American Rescue Plan, that has $213 billion in its plan. And that ARP, American Rescue Plan, of $213 billion is designated for low-income housing and house buyers. So he could release that and still keep the market supply and demand very high. There's going to be, if he releases that, there's going to be more people that are going to hit the market looking for houses because now they got government funding to back them up, which, again, keeps us right back where we're at. And if he releases it next year in 2022, let's say he doesn't do it in 2021, he does it in 2022, that's a lot of money that's hitting the market automatically. If he releases the $213 billion in 2022, now that's a lot of money that's just hitting the real estate market and in one shot. Now you add that to all the people that are still buying. Remember, inventory is low, a lot of money on the market high, a lot of people looking to buy high. So with that factor, I don't see that the market is necessarily going to crash in 2021. But let me know in the comments if you see some other factors that might make a big difference. Let me know. I'm open to it. I want to hear. I know we all want to hear. At Investor Secrets Unlocked, this is a sharing platform. This is where we get to kind of tell me what's on your mind. What do you see? And I want to know. I've been investing for 25 years, and how I've been doing it so well for so long is I listen and I hear trends. But for the most part, I don't think it's going to crash. I'm not an expert. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm just looking at a lot of the facts, and that's what I think you should do, is look at the facts, make your decision. But this video was created so that you can make a decision whether you're going to buy a house, or if you're an investor and you want to make an investment, is right now 2021 a good time to invest, especially when prices are through the roof? In my opinion, I think you should. Why? Because there's still going to be great opportunities. If you're a retail investor, you probably got to look out a little bit differently. If you have been trained and you know what you're looking for, let's say you're going to wholesale, or you're going to rehab, or you're going to do rental properties, I think it's a great time for all of those. Might you be paying a little bit more? Yes, but the property values are still going up. If you're going to wholesale, it doesn't matter. You're just going to make your fee in between of what you buy it for and what you sell it for. If you're going to buy it and rehab it, okay, so on the average, let's say you're buying a $300,000 rehab. On a $300,000 rehab, your profit should be about 15%. So 300,000 times 15%, there's 45,000. There's a lot of money in there. So maybe you don't make 60,000 that you would have made. Maybe you only make 40,000. Is $40,000 still good enough for you to make an investment right now? If that's good enough for you, then you should invest now. Don't wait. Do it now. And if you're a landlord and you're saying, hey, I want to buy a property and I want to rent it out, I think right now is a great time to rent. I'm personally buying a few rentals right now. Why do I say that? Because there are people that are standing on the sidelines and they're not gonna buy. So if they're not buying, what are they gonna do? They're gonna rent. And what's happening, what I'm seeing out there is there's a lot of great tenants that are looking for great properties, and there's not a lot available. Not a lot. And I've been looking around in different states, and even locally where I'm at in New Jersey, and the common conversation, getting rentals are challenging. Now, take out the big cities, take out the New York and those other places, do your homework and just check. But for the most part, I'm going to say, 80% of the country, rentals are looking pretty good. That's my opinion. Let me know your thought in the comments. So my overall take, whether the market is going to crash in 2021, is I don't see it crashing. I don't see it crashing in 2022. But take a look at the data for yourself and you let me know. I'm still going to buy. We have a lot of students out there that are still buying houses right now. They are so eager because there's great opportunities on the wholesaling real estate, doing lease options, owner financing, doing renovations is still great right now. The cost is a little higher, but that's okay. You still recoup the money. You're still going to make money on it. It's not like you're going to lose money. And the rentals are doing great. So my reco is to buy. And so hopefully you enjoyed this video. At Investor Secrets Unlock, our group, our community here, we're about helping real estate investors get visible and get paid. So with that being said, tell us what you want to learn on the next video. Put it in the comments. What do you want to learn? This channel is about helping you to grow your real estate investing to whatever level you want to grow. If you're starting off, perfect, this is the right place. If you're seasoned and you've done 100 deals, this is the right place. And one of the things that I know is your biggest breakdown will be your biggest breakthrough. And your biggest breakthrough could be that transformation. And a big breakthrough doesn't need to be something monstrous. I know that all of us here are probably looking for a financial transformation. So if you are stuck someplace or there's a video that you want us to make to help you, please let us know. Put it in the comment. Tell us what kind of content, what kind of videos do you want us to teach you, and you might be selected where we are able to come and make that exclusive video for you. We'll put it on the channel. So let us know how we can help you. Investor Secrets. My name is Jason Rodriguez. We do a video every single Tuesday. We drop a new video. Remember to subscribe and ding the bell, and tell a friend. Share this with somebody that you think might need this information. And I'll talk to you soon. Take it easy. Go and invest.